Warning, this episode may contain content that is not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Whoa. Yep.
And crown the witch. Eurovision Song Festival is known for some pretty interesting, crazy performances. I mean, and this is attracting millions and millions of people, right? But this one, contestant from Ireland, Bambi Thug, wow. We're gonna talk about it today. We're gonna react to this video. Let's dive in.
Okay, so what strikes me anyway, right there, is that even before we see any imagery behind her, she's just on her knees like that, pulsing back and forth.
Oh.
As though she is already in some way being pulled by a demon.
Interesting.
Or pulled by spirits of some kind.
Uh-huh. She's wearing the demon, the devil horns.
Yep, and if that's not enough, like on her forehead, they're up like antlers with her headdress. So that's what I see so far.
What does the antlers mean?
The antlers can also be somewhat of a form. It sounds really weird, but it's kind of like Baphomet. It's just not the horns of a goat. And sometimes in the Celtic, Norse mythology, the gods would wear antlers or horns to symbolize that they somehow were a god.
Or maybe worshiping Baphomet and the devil.
Yeah.
Wow. Just from 1 second in, let's keep watching.
Okay, pause. So this is one of the basics of witchcraft, which she seems to be just blatantly showing. Is sitting in the middle of a pentagram, which you can see there.
It's coming up.
It's going to be coming up a little more, obviously. But then you light the candles usually, whether it's one or several.
Yeah, she's surrounded by candles.
But that circle of candles also.
Okay.
When you go to cast a spell or do a ritual in the Wiccan religion or just magic, you have to create your circle. And that's like your sacred space of casting, which is supposed to protect you from demons, but funny enough, it invokes demons.
Well,
so
yeah.
It's like
you're dealing with the devil.
Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing.
Crazy. And this is at the Eurovision Song Festival. There's like thousands and thousands of people in the crowd. There's millions of people watching from home all over Europe. This is like a family tradition every year. And this is what's happening there. And we're going to look at her official music video after this that has over 1 million views. This is nuts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So what is she doing here? She's
mumbling almost like a chant, like that's what you're supposed to do as well. Usually as you cast the circle, you start calling the 4 winds of the elements and
water, fire, earth,
and
air, and the 5th one would be spirit, which is what the pentagram stands for. The 5 points stands for those different elements.
And once you do that, you can also call upon gods and goddesses' names to invoke them as demons inside of you, or an object perhaps or something. But she's kind of doing that. I can't understand fully what she's saying, but I believe that's what she's doing.
Interesting. So there's another character being introduced.
Okay, can you pause it? So it's like she, in the very beginning, even when she was in that kind of superhero pose with her hand out.
Right.
Looking very
like this?
smiling. Yeah,
Okay.
she's like this evil smile.
We'll pop it up on the screen.
It's like she's reveling in the power that she's going to have all of a sudden.
Crazy.
Over this demon, which I'm assuming that guy that pops up is a demon, and she's still holding her hand out as though she's just loving this.
Now, where we're paused here, what is the spiraling things that she's wearing?
You know, we'll get into this a little more, but the spirals usually do come from the Celtic faith. Again, it's like their trinity that they have.
There's also 3 on there.
Yeah. And it's just, that's all I know is that it's the trinity, and they usually show it as the Celtic cross, although it's not shown here. It's just a bunch of spirals that are going on of powers.
Let's keep watching. Let's see what this guy is all about.
Oh, wow. So she goes like this, which is usually, even in dance, it means you're being taken over by it.
Yeah, and so you were a hip-hop dancer, so you know about these things. So why do you do that in dance?
In that, you're fully giving over to the movement and the impulse of what's overtaking you in the music. And it is demonic or spiritual. And just to let yourself sway into it.
And in this case, we definitely know what on earth is overtaking her.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
And then they're still showing this other guy once in a while. And so she's holding her hands up and all this stuff. She's obviously the one controlling him right now, invoking him. He's coming, and soon we'll see where he comes, and that's closer to her. But that's what is going on right now.
Okay. Wait. So what's on her face? What is the three little dot thingies?
I think that's another one of those Celtic kind of symbolisms that's going on there. Yeah, they look like spirals as well.
So she has them all over.
Yeah. Yeah, and that face, I mean, just to hold your hands out like that and just have a face, I hate to say this, but like Beyonce, when she dances and you know that she's doing Sasha Fierce.
Yep, which she says is her alter ego, but really we know that's just demon possession.
Right. And myself having danced and somewhat lost control on stage, I don't remember what I was doing. So dancing, I remember having lots of faces that were very ugly and actually very angry like that coming across my face in moments like that. So she's doing it really well. I hate to say that, but she's embodying this demonic channeling that she seems to be showing that she wants to do with this pentagram and the circle. And crazy. Okay. So you have the chanting and the breathing, which sounds so eerie. Yeah. But you have that within the chanting that witches start doing in that circle.
Right.
So it does, it's kind of like, just creepy.
Oh, there's the other guy.
Okay. So she thinks she's in control right now, but as we know, I hope people do know this, that as you get into messing with the occult world, you are chanting and you are trying to manifest or give a spell or chant on the universe or these demons to have your will be done. They might give you what you want. A lot of times they do, but it usually backfires and they end up controlling you.
Right. This reminds me of the movie, I've never seen it, but Mikey told me about it, The Craft. Have you seen it? And they do the exact same thing. There's these teenagers that they're like, oh, we're just going to delve into witchcraft and it'll be fun and we'll get whatever we want. And then it backfired and they got full on into it and everything went wrong and dark and evil. And they were like, yikes, we need to get out of this.
Right. But while it's going on and you do get a lot of what you want, you think, oh my goodness, everything's going my way. She seems like she's, again, just loving this. Like, I'll just speak in dominance and obedience. In obedience to me, everything will come to fruition that I want. And so this demon on my behalf, I'll just ask him for what I want. That's what I'm getting, at least in the imagery here. He will do it because I have that power over him. Interesting.
So here it changes to the moon, right? It was all dark and the music slows down and there's the moon behind her. I know you told me there's some interesting symbolism when it comes to the moon.
Yes. So in, oh my goodness, what do you want to call this? The occult world, or directly down into Satanism, there's what is usually the male and female parts of symbolism, and the god becoming a god yourself. That is the male side, which is usually the sun. It's representative of the sun. And then the female part is usually the moon. So I'm not sure, but she seems to be all of a sudden calming down and becoming more feminine all of a sudden, striking that pose right here.
Yes.
And she also, if you've noticed, has switched. The control of the dancing has all of a sudden become the demon's will. He has the hands on her wrist and is just kind of spinning her around in this ballet type thing.
And what I find interesting too is that this guy is half his body is blue and half his body is just his skin color. And he flipped around when the moon came up. So it's like he has those two sides, like you were saying. He has, I'm going to give you what you want side, and now I'm controlling you side.
Yes.
And actually the dark side of him is when he's controlling her. Very interesting. Oh, and he has devil horns.
Okay, so there's the horns there. I just want to mention this, but usually there's this, as they were going into that dip, it usually does feel as though you're dancing in tandem with evil.
Dancing with the devil. How many times have we seen that come up in movies? That statement, dare to dance with the devil. Batman, which one was it? Batman the Dark Knight, right? And I recently saw a video, it was the show Scream Queens, where the devil texted Ariana Grande, who was playing this character, and says, dare to dance with the devil. It comes up.
But it usually... So she seems to be liking it right now. Everything's going smoothly and fun and just happy. And then all of a sudden we'll just see what happens. But I'm guessing since he's in control, it's usually deceitful kind of dance of just ha ha ha, everything's good. And then it usually blows up.
Total chaos.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa, so he just undressed her and now she's looking down like, what just happened? And also she has a pentagram on her chest.
Yeah. Which I don't know, like in some ways it's like she was shocked by that he was just doing what he wanted with her. Just exposed her like that and she's like, oh, okay.
So he's coming up behind her. And now everything's red.
Yeah. Okay.
So here comes the sun. Yep.
Yep. So, and things are getting warmer, like the red color. And she's saying it's a slow dance, at least I heard something about a dance. So it is kind of like they're moving in tandem together, but it's starting to heat up. It's starting to get kind of weird.
And the sun is very well known in occultism as sun worship. And pretty much every single pagan religion has sun worship included in it.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So he's starting to fully possess her.
Right, yeah.
With no control. And she's like, oh.
Yeah.
So it's happening like this, the male aggression and dominance of the sun, if you want to look at it that way, with the occult symbolism is there.
Right, so the sun is male, the moon is female. Okay.
Oh.
What?
It was a slight scream, and I know that sounds weird, but if you are possessed and you think of someone who is fully getting into that, you can usually just hear a slight, if not very strong shriek of demonic possession. So it sounded a little bit like that.
Yeah. So she threw him off, and now they are dancing separately.
Oh, okay. So I hate to say this, but like from my experience again of dancing, usually when you are giving into that feeling of like, I'm great and I am somewhat God, and you dance in tandem with the devil, if you will, or evil, and you know you're doing it, but you're happy about it. Like everything's, she's starting to strike all these poses just like, yes.
It's like they are... Wow. Whoa.
So now she is enveloping this aggression of just pure like control.
You know what I'm thinking? I don't even know if her scream that she's doing right now is humanly possible. To be honest with you.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering, is if in her music she actually gives more inhuman screams than normal.
Right.
But she's definitely controlling him now.
Yeah. She's controlling him, and she's fully absorbed whatever power he was giving her before. And he looks possessed now.
Whoa. Yep.
And crown the witch. And you know what's sad? How many people are laughing and clapping? Oh, there's some people who look a little bit uncomfortable, but like, how many people are like, yo, that is awesome, dude. Like, sick as anything. And it's like, do you know what you're playing with? I mean, seriously.
And I might add that this is where I personally got a lot of confidence from that moment. And it makes you very powerful feeling. Although you realize eventually that it's very demonic for sure, and it's not godly.
Yeah.
And I had to stop relying upon that power and that kind of confidence to be given to me by music. And so she looks like she's going with it. And a lot of actors and actresses, it might not be music, it might be the moment on stage of the praise they're getting, but it does the same thing. It boosts your ego so much that you feel like you can't do any wrong.
Let's look at this music video. Let's see what she does in here, because this is pretty sickening too. So thunder is used a lot in Greek mythology to represent certain gods. So for example, Zeus was a god that they say fell from the sky, and there was lightning, thunder, and Zeus, if you really look into him, is actually representative of Satan.
That's right. Unfortunately, I have a lot to say already.
Okay,
about this.
Go for it. Okay, what are we seeing?
So she's from Ireland, right?
Yep.
That's the seat of Celtic mythology.
Okay.
You see the Celtic cross right there already. It's kind of interwoven in certain things here.
Christian cross too, which is strange.
Yes, and there's the pentagram underneath it.
Yes, and it says Blaze Bible.
Yes, and in that way, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is her grimoire book. It's your spell casting book as a witch.
Oh.
And when you have the candles around you on some kind of surface that's up, and you have other items around it, we see several items that even I can't tell what they are.
Like you said earlier, it's like a medallion or something?
Yeah, she has like a necklace or medallion here.
Yep.
But then there's a candle. She has a blue rose. Usually do have items of nature, because you're going to be calling the powers of the universe and nature and the elements into your casting.
Okay.
And so it seems as though we're looking at her altar.
Yeah. And what is this? Is like an animal or something in the back?
It looked like a ceramic rabbit looking up to the sky, which is strange. You can usually use any item that means something to you. Okay.
Interesting they call it a Bible. And she's using it to cast spells. So let's see what happens. Now, this video we have to pause like 1,000 times because the imagery flashes by so quickly, but please bear with us. This is going to be pretty interesting. So she picks up the Bible. Oh, and here too, Ouija board piece.
Oh yes,
that they use to invoke the spirits.
It's divination, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So she's writing in her book. Now here in the corner it says, "Wish I could take back all the times you were inside me." By. So when we went through this, it seemed like she was talking about an ex-boyfriend or something. At the same time, this is so super demonic. This is so super invoking spirits. I wouldn't be surprised if she's talking about Satan or some demon that was inside of her. Note to self, hex ex-boyfriend, make new boyfriend. Oh, make new better boyfriend. So what you were saying here is that she's writing down a spell, right?
Yeah, and she even says it right there. It's amazing that she put it, but hexes are spells or curses you're actually going to pronounce on someone.
Okay.
Or something. And so she's creating her own spell right now, or a goal. I guess she's putting on paper her goals. Okay. Like a vision board. They use vision boards a lot, actually.
Wow. It's a different kind of vision board.
Yeah. And she's writing it in this frenzy of just purpose, like tons of purpose and intention. Okay. And you see the flames flickering as though it is actually conjuring up demons already. Like they're listening, like in the flame.
This is creepy as anything.
Yeah, smiles.
She had a pentagram tattoo in her hand. Oh, we actually can
she's
read.
Pouring salt. Okay, here we go. I believe that's salt or sand. Salt in alchemy.
Alchemy is part of witchcraft.
Yes, and using chemicals and chemistry, basically. But you actually become this other chemical. And so when you pour and you're casting a circle, that's what she's doing. She's pouring the salt into her circle.
Same as what we saw in the live performance, standing in a circle.
Yes. And for certain rites or rituals in different times, whether they choose to use it or not, they will use the salt to do that in their circle or not. So you could just draw a circle in the sand or something with a stick.
Oh, there comes the voodoo doll. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Okay. She's doing all kinds of things to this doll and pouring stuff on it. Of course, without getting into all of it, that is part of witchcraft. It's what you have to do to get these things to happen. There's always a order of strange things you have to do to invoke that demon to have your will done. And it's just strange because she's having pleasure from it again. She's just like, yeah, let's do this hex. And the music says even a hex for this and a hex for that. And so I heard that, just like she's just plopping it everywhere.
Yeah. And then again, this is a song she was performing at the Eurovision Song Festival in front of millions.
Oh, I was going to touch on that when she was burning the sage. I hope you guys know this. Burning sage is only used in shaman type witchcraft or satanic occult situations for channeling demons or having a certain energy in your house and so on. Like you don't use it for any other reason. And so she's doing that to help in this spell casting. And when she goes visually with her dancing, she just stops and it's like she's vibrating all of a sudden. You clearly get the image that she's finally invoked that demon fully.
Yeah.
It's there inside of her and she just kind of like freezes and looks up to the sky and just allows it in.
Man, guys, pray for her, right? We're not making this video because we're trying to put her down. We're making this video to show you what's going on in the world and that we need to be careful with what we watch and listen to. And that these are the signs of the times that Jesus is coming back soon. We need to be on our guard. We need to be ready. But also let's pray for her. She really needs Jesus. So what? She's in the bathtub?
It looks like she's going to drown her little voodoo doll that's her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Wait. Okay. The power of her spell is on fire all of a sudden. Her book and her spell's on fire. And she's got all this jelly mucus stuff coming out of the bathtub. Like things are actually happening. It's creating life. It's having power.
Wow. And it says right here where we paused, I guess you'd rather have a star than the moon?
Anger. So she's almost saying you'd rather have me be angry like a star, a male, like the male aggression part of usually the gods or goddesses, like they used to say in all the idols that they worshipped. It was always this incurring the wrath of the god, which was the male part,
right? Rather
than the female, like kind and passive. So yeah, she's almost saying like, okay, here we go. You incurred my wrath. I was being nice before, now I'm not going to be.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, so all of a sudden the music slowed down and she is outside with the moon. So this is the female part, right? Having the moon on her head as well.
Which is also kind of being more, as most people would say, I guess more reflective and emotional. So she's just sitting there kind of like, oh man, I lost my boyfriend. And she's going back into her emotions of like, I miss him.
You know what I find interesting? This is just a quick observation. These colors are the exact colors of transgenderism, the transgender flag. I mean, I don't believe in coincidence in music, video production, or in Hollywood because you don't sit there and like, I guess I'm gonna wear pink and blue today. Like, no, there's actually, a lot of thought that goes behind this, and especially looking at how much symbolism she puts in her videos, there's no chance this was just by accident.
Right, and she's wearing a blue hair thing. I don't know what to call that, but...
A wig?
Yeah, but on the top of it, it also has either two moons that are connected, but it also can look like horns again.
Yep.
So, I don't know. She's just always paying homage to Baphomet.
Absolutely.
As well.
Oh, and she's back.
Yeah, so she's back.
It sounds like she's like, there's literally a demon speaking through her. It's pretty bizarre.
Right, and so you do get pulled back and forth, usually by the demons you're invoking. Not from my experience, I don't know any of that. But I've read lots of encounters that witches have had. And they say I was fully in control, and then the next moment I wasn't. I was being controlled.
Yeah.
As though I was observing myself. And so I've actually, on top of that, and I mean no offense, but there's a lot of statistics actually on this, that when you are either dealing with witchcraft or the occult, usually there's a multiple personality problem going on, and mental illness is a huge problem.
Oh, that's really sad.
So it seems as though she is actually fragmenting into different parts of herself.
Right. That the spirits control.
Right, and the male and female, which is just anger versus, I guess, more kindness and stuff.
That's not even her voice, man. That's a demon.
Right.
Now, what does she have on her face? Between her eyes, she had like a... It almost looked like an hourglass or something?
It's either, an hourglass, or it looks like a forever symbol.
Yeah.
Infinity symbol. So for the hermaphrodite thing again, when you encompass both the male and female.
Which she was obviously doing with the transgender colors.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that can actually be shown as the infinity symbol, as though both have united.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So her eyes rolled back at that moment. Did you notice how much she
didn't
went
see
and
that.
just it was like all back like 3 times, and I was like, oh, okay. So there you go. She's being possessed, and she's happy about it again. She's just like, yeah.
So we got another character coming in. Who's that?
So this is the part that I believe is supposed to be humorous, although I hate that they're covering it up as humor, because I believe this is her furry, strange, creepy, new better boyfriend that she's conjured up. Which again, when you ask usually from Satan or the demons for what you want, you usually do get it in a strange way. Not what you really wanted.
I'm not sure if I want to worship Satan. I think I'm happy to worship God, the Christian God of the Bible, who gives us a proper human being to be with.
Right, and he just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just very creepily as well.
Oh, and she went back to the moon. With her furry friend chilling with her.
Yeah.
That she just evoked.
Ooh, stop.
Okay.
They actually had the words hoodoo.
Oh.
Okay,
Who do all the things that you do?
Yeah, that's clever. That is really clever. Because another name for voodoo is hoodoo. So she's practicing voodoo, for one. Witchcraft and voodoo very close together. And then when you just use music, especially tempos. Use tempos to actually invoke that kind of weird pulsating of the body to almost act like you've lost control.
Right.
That is voodoo. So she's using the word hoodoo. So yeah, that was very, very clever.
Having fun with my demon friend. Yay!
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So she's saying for your romance, it's almost as though she's actually singing about the demon or about Satan.
Okay.
So I would beg, steal, and borrow to have that kind of romance is what she's gotten to so far. It's like her oath to him.
Slow dance me. Which again it sounds to me like a reference to what we showed earlier, Dancing with the Devil, which is a very common theme in Hollywood and the music industry and references to Satan. And now she's getting killed or something?
He's taking control of her and like...
Oh, we saw the same thing in the live performance.
Yeah. So he's turning on her.
Yes.
Which is... It is typical of demons, you guys. You do not just
Don't play around with this stuff.
You don't follow and get what you want without there being something they want from you.
Yeah, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Okay, so what I was seeing there is that Satan will take away all your sorrow. She was singing, for your romance, I will beg, steal, and borrow, and you'll take away all my sorrow.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, so yeah, that's a lie for one. But we usually do gravitate towards things like drugs or substances or even sex or music. I'll put that all out on the same table because it is all substances you can use to turn off your emotions of the guilt or shame or even, I don't know, just godly things you're supposed to feel that you're turning off. You're just like sedating all of them.
Yep.
So
she's getting fully possessed as he is chasing her.
Okay, can you pause that though? So she almost looked like she was crying, which usually it does. It turns into like this terrible cry of desperation, like, help me, they're controlling me, they're coming after me.
Yes.
They're using
same in
me.
live performance.
Yep. And again, from all of these experiences that I've read about, it's the same thing. It's like, it doesn't matter what I'm feeling at that point, it's taken over. Yeah. It's having its way with me.
Yeah.
And I have no control.
And besides, this whole scene is happening in front of the moon at night. So, yeah, dark.
Yeah, there's the eyes again.
She said avacadava.
Okay, and she says, I speak to destroy. So they have a lot of actually spells that are to destroy your enemy.
Which is what she sought to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she also seemed to be, and I'm not trying to give this information for promoting it. But they also have a lot of love magic and love spells as well to get back your exes or even bring about your new husband or your new love so that they are bound to you, like spiritually.
Who wants to be in a relationship with someone that has just been forced to be in your life? Like, why would you want that?
God wants you to be bound spiritually, but it's a different way, a totally different way. And it's
He gives us free choice.
yes. And so they're trying to impose their will, and I know this for a fact because I've done so much research on it. She is, when you cast a spell or you manifest, there's actually no difference. And it's a different definition in the Bible, by the way. When we read manifest, it doesn't mean any of that. When you do that, you superimpose your will upon the universe, the God, the creator, whatever you want. You're trying to get your will out of it and make it happen.
Right.
Because Satan's listening to what you want when you actually speak it.
Yeah.
And so she's dipping into that.
But then it backfires.
Yes.
Clearly.
Always.
So don't play with this stuff. It's not worth it. Oh, there's her new boyfriend saying, hi, hanging out with you in your bed. I find this interesting too. I'm thinking about, I think it's the end of the video, but I'm thinking about bestiality, that she's clearly with some kind of an animal-like person. And God clearly says in his Bible and his word that he speaks against that. Do not get involved with bestiality. So she's promoting a whole slew of things that the Bible speaks against in this video. Any last thoughts?
No, that was enough.
You know, guys, the reason why we put this out here is not to entertain you, to give you any information about, well, now I know a little bit more about the occult or paganism. We are showing you this because we want you to understand this is happening in the world, right? This is happening in Europe, and this is happening in front of millions of eyes. There's children watching this show. This video has, look how many people, how many subscribers, views, 1.9 million views. Like, that is absurd. And she went through the semifinals with this song. And you know, the way Eurovision Song Festival works is that each country that's involved with it, that's part of Europe, has to decide. There's a committee that decides, we are going to send this local national musician that we have in our country to participate in the Eurovision Song Festival to hopefully win. These music videos, these artists, this propaganda is being pushed out by Satan, not for no reason. This doesn't just happen. If you have been watching what's happening in the world and you've been seeing more and more and more evil, I hope this is a wake-up call that prophecy is being fulfilled, that Jesus is coming soon, and that now is the time to choose. We cannot be dabbling in two different sides anymore. We cannot say, well, I don't know, I like this stuff. Revelation 2 and 3, read it. It talks about, Jesus says, I would that you were either cold or hot. But because you are lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. Because he's nauseated. I don't believe that Jesus is just sitting there being like, I want to spew you out of my mouth. I believe that the sins of the people who are claiming to be Christians are getting so high that it has a nauseating feeling on his stomach where there's an act where he has to vomit. None of this is what he wants for anybody, right? He says, I want you to be hot. I want you to be hot because I'm coming soon. And in John 3:16, everybody knows that. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Choose you this day whom you will serve. For me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Today, choose you whom you will serve. Today, choose the Lord while you hear the Spirit speak to you. And if you hear the Spirit convict your heart that maybe this is not something you should participate in, and maybe you're not even watching these kind of songs or listening to this stuff, but something, I don't know, like let's say Taylor Swift, we got a whole video on her. I encourage you to watch it. All these other musicians, that look on our channel and see which ones we've covered, right? And look into these things. Do your research and understand that maybe this world is not what it seems. Maybe there's something more to it. Maybe there isn't a severe attack on you as a person, and on the beautiful relationship God wants to have with you. And maybe Satan is trying to do his absolute best to keep you away from him, so that you will not choose Jesus fully, wholeheartedly, on fire, hot for Jesus, like a blaze, so that when he comes back, he says, I don't have a choice. I want you on my side. I want you to be with me, but I cannot force you because you make your own decisions because you have free will. I encourage you to choose Jesus today.
And I'll just add to that I would love for people to realize also that music and media like this, they're obviously putting her out there to be in the public eye. It's not just randomly chosen, like you said.
Yep.
It is preaching a message to you. It's planting seeds. It's out there to actually get people interested in this stuff, in the occult, and move them further on that trajectory towards it and towards accepting it, because you become more numb towards realizing it's evil. So,
yep. So we can choose to either be numb and draw closer to the dark side, and this is what Satan does to people, or we can choose Jesus, who saves us from sin because he gave himself for us, and in a way that shows his love like nobody else ever could.